Right, so I'm here today with my friend who makes music on Spotify, and this is Gary.
Oh,
And we're going to talk a little bit about he's releasing a new album on Spotify that you'll be able to stream. So let's just get into it. What's the name of the new album?
it is Live and Learn.
Live and Learn, okay. And just what's the theme? Like what's inspired it?
To be honest, when it was back in 2020 when came up with the name, because obviously I brought a couple of singles out for it. Obviously there's been a sort of delay in the timing of getting it out, but I think it was just, it just sort of came to mind, like, well, you learn new things every day. It's like, and like, you're living in different moments and things, and like it just sort of fell apart. Like I'd actually written song self-titled for it, but I've not actually used that, and because chopping and changing and things like it. It is it just sort of fell into place. Like there wasn't really any thinking as well until I went, oh, hold on a minute, you know.
So you were just sort of writing a little bit about what was going on at that time, obviously 2020, the pandemic.
Yeah, it was more so, obviously my last album, It's the Truth, when I came out, once I released that, it was like, sort of, during the pandemic, and I was like, I'm like, trying to think how do I better music in terms of writing, like, because I thought the writing was alright for it. It was just from It's the Truth, but it was like I need to step it up a bit here, and it also takes its time, like that. And I just sort of, I don't know, I just had the time in the hands at that point, and it was.
I mean, there was certainly in 2020 there was a shortage of hands.
Obviously there was.
That makes sense. I mean, like obviously, you mentioned that you're writing about like time and things that you learn, while you were doing it, it all kind of just fell together. So you mentioned that there was like a self-titled song you've not used. Is there like what was the thought behind that? Like,
right, basically, Live and Learn was meant to be the fourth single fourth and final single for this album, but in that time, it just, also things were a bit difficult at that point. It was meant to come out the end of 2020. The rest of the albums here got to be following on 2021 or last year, 2022, but I sort of decided to take a break for a year from actual writing and just music in general. I was like, took the break, come back 2022, and obviously I'd written the song, and I think it was either I lost the lyrics that I'd written down, or it was just, I'd written another song and I was like, I'm going to use that.
Obviously you mentioned taking a break, and I think like it's important to say, like, obviously we know each other outside of this. Obviously you've shared with me a little bit about during the break, you felt a little bit disconnected from yourself. You were struggling a little bit with
so obviously there's two separate times. So
exactly. And it's kind of thing when it's kind of linking that up, and I think you definitely have said before that you feel better when you're writing the music. How important has that been for your mental health and your own well-being?
It's massively, like it's been, I think, as I say, like the first time round when it was more depression, anxiety, it rather than being stressed, like I think it was more like when that first time came round, it was like trying to find myself again, like because it was more a difficult time. We were ill in COVID, like pandemic, and like obviously like you could maybe go out walking or something, which I'd end up doing, but I think it was at that point, it was like, I just went, I need the break, because like I'd been constantly writing for like, and well, at that point it would have probably been about 7-8 years, so I was like, I need the break for this. It was like, I think you get that as well, like especially if it doesn't matter if you're a songwriter or if you're a journalist or anything, like you find where like, I don't know what to.
I think for everyone, taking a break's just very important. Like whether you're doing some creative or whether you just go and work a 9 to 5, like it's important just across the board that everyone, no matter where we're at in the world, you need time. Like everyone needs a bit of breathing space. And I think by the sounds of it, the music for you lets you give a bit of a voice to some of those feelings. You know, like you mentioned depression and
like as I say, like obviously when it was more stress there in recent times, I think going through a worse stage, there's probably a few people that actually inspired me. A couple of friends that I know, and it was more so. But what somebody actually like worked with, it was like you should start writing them down, and I was, and I think it was more like, say I'm sitting in a room and I see a situation happening, or like for example, if somebody was maybe sitting like on a couch there thinking, I could like start to write, or could write a line like I'm sitting thinking, or we were sitting thinking, or something like. Like
and it's just
using that for example.
And it starts off as something like, it can start off as like something really simple, can't it? And then you can evolve the thought through time. You know, like sometimes like it just has to enter, and then you almost like work on, you chisel away at it. You know, as though it's like, because the initial thought I would describe as like, tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's like, it's almost like a piece of stone, and you're trying to like carve out like a sculpture, but instead of sculpture, it's like it's the words to a song. You know, like it's definitely like that.
I think, and as I say, like going, as I say, I know I like opened up to you, and I've opened up to quite a few people, and like obviously a few people, as I say, I was actually staying. It'd seen me like constantly for like 5-6 weeks, and in this time I started writing, and like, because I was showing them, and I think it was more recently I actually turned around and went, do you think I'm an actual good songwriter? And they're like, aye, when the words are pretty good, and the way you're explaining, like, because like I just was like, that's another thing, like I mean, it doesn't matter. It's not just obviously but depression things, right? It was just everything in general, like you know, it's.
No, I definitely get it. I think everybody listening to this gets the spirit of it. So back to the album and the stuff you're producing at the moment. Is there any songs, like tell me about a couple of songs from the album that you think everyday listeners should hear?
I think for me, obviously, as I say, the first song I actually say is more it's probably the funniest song I've actually written, and is inspired by a few people I work with. If it ever does get like big, they've got credits on it, so basically the song on the album, which was a single as well, called Here Comes Tommy, and that it's about working in night shift, and usually we have like say like 5 o'clock in the morning, we get a rolling sausage or something, and it was a couple of them was like, oh, you should hang with it, that, but I went, I'll see what I can do, and this was actually back in 2020, and wrote it, and it was quite funny hearing it, because I was like, it wasn't something I actually wrote about, but because I'd rather keep it more like serious, but I think you've got to have something funny. It just.
No, of course.
It was like one of the ones that I don't even know, it just sort of.
Like, I think We all get it. Music,
Aye.
sometimes it can be uplifting. It sometimes needs to
And
be.
that song actually, it sort of, well, once it sort of went, oh, you should, it was sort of like, it goes, there's a song on Oasis's first album, definitely maybe, Digsy's Dinner, because it's talking about like a dinner or something. It's like, that's sort of where that inspired me for that song in a wee bit, but no, obviously there's no any words that are the same in it, it just, like, I don't know, it just sort of evolved.
Yeah, it's something that puts a thought in the head, and it just comes in its own, comes in your own version of it. So others, okay, just got onto it just a little bit, but musical inspiration.
Before that, because there was a couple of songs, there was I'd probably say other song, obviously I've got a demo on YouTube, Future for Us, that's another song that that was one of the first songs I actually wrote after the stressing and that was more about, it could be anything, like in terms of like, it could be about, well, saying that having a future with a person, or it could be a future in your family, like if you've gone through shit. It's like, it definitely is, like, it sort of touched me when writing it, but like, I was alright with it. It was just like, it could mean anything, like it's one of the things that I'm trying to find another song, one more song for it. I'd probably say, it was actually written about a friend that was going through like mental health and that, like feeling right down and that, and I'm sure it was at the song In the End, I believe that, I think it was In the End, I'm sure it was, and that there's some touching words in it, but try to think on, because it's been a wee while since I've actually looked at words, because obviously everything's been recorded and it's ready to go basically.
Yeah, no, and when's it going to be available?
1st of March.
1st of March, and how can people like find you? What's
well, obviously I know Spotify, like obviously YouTube I might upload at a later time, because it's on my own channel, so Spotify, Amazon, or Amazon Music as it's called these days, Apple Music, and one of you is probably a long time for beginnings in SoundCloud, but I do have a Facebook page which is also Gary Murdoch Music, so it's that's where I usually just post the links and that, or any announcements or anything.
So it would be Gary Murdoch Music.
Yeah.
Right, that's fine. And also just want to kind of touch on this one, like musically, who is it that inspires you? I know you and me have gone to a few gigs over the years as well, you know, Rise Against.
I think inspiration, like, it depends on like what time, because music's been different all through the years. Like
for this album, who's probably been your big like musical inspiration for it?
It's really been, as you know, well, what you say, it's all Gallica, Wayne Gallica, and probably Stone Roses, all the sort of like that genre, like that.
Old British rock.
Yeah, old British rock, like, and it's just some of it is done that hangover, because even my last album was like that as well, to be honest.
No,
but
it's very, very fair. Is there anything you would like the people listening to this or watching this to know?
Like, for example, what do you mean?
Like just about the process. Like, how is there anything that you wish people understood about the effort that goes into all of this?
To be honest, it is quite a bit of an effort if you think about it, from songwriting, having to, like, sometimes one song could be easier to write than the other, but then it's the actual, like, it can come down to the recording side, and it depends, like, because like sometimes like I can already, if I pick up a guitar and I haven't actually written the song, like I could sit there, like I've already got chords like for that to build that song. But sometimes when you write a song, you do chop and change, like it can take a bit of time, but it depends. Like you can say within an hour you can have a song completely made.
That's fine. Right, well, we'll close off there, and we hope you all enjoy this new album when it comes out, and we hope you've enjoyed the interview, and we wish you all a really good day.